and welcome back to the Grace Yourself Podcast, where the grace is always greener. My name's Grace, and it's lovely for you to be joining me today. If it's your first time here, welcome to my channel. I talk about anything and everything, whatever I'm feeling. If you're not new here, welcome back. Thanks for watching again. So good to see all of you, and I'm grateful for all of you. Thank you. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about closure versus clarity. Sorry about the quality. I'm filming on my phone. I was going to whip my camera out, and I was kind of like, it's a lot of work, and it always gives me issues. And I'd rather get my messages out here with poor quality but great content, not no message at all. You get what I'm getting at? Okay, let's get into it. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about why we crave closure, why closure isn't always the best answer, and why clarity is something that we should lean towards instead. Let's get into it. I have the handy dandy notebook full of secrets. That's what we're looking at today, per usual. So, first, we're going to begin with why we crave closure. The brain tends to want things to always make sense to us, and it doesn't like loose ends, it doesn't like the unknown. The human need to want to know everything is such a prominent, dare I say, issue. Humans want to know everything, and once you let go of the need to know everything, Juniper cameo, did you hear that meow? Juniper's talking to us. She agrees. Once you let go of that need to know everything, there is a weight off of your shoulders. I used to want / need to know every little thing about everything. And there's no issue with asking questions. Don't get me wrong, that's great. You should want to learn. Learning is a great thing. But I'm talking about more situationally. You don't always need to know every little detail of everything. You need to know what you need to know. And once you're shown the answer or shown a certain thing, accept it. Anyways, if there's an ending that leaves you confused or upset or lost, the brain often tends to focus on it. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. It's the brain remembering and obsessing over topics with unfinished business more than things with a clear resolution. Leans into our need to know everything. Whenever we're not certain about a certain thing, we want to investigate more and more and more and more. However, it becomes an issue when you've been given a clear answer, but it's not the answer you wanted, so you are proceeding to continue to investigate in a hope that maybe something will change. When you're begging for closure from someone, you might think it's going to ease the pain. If I knew why they left, I'd feel better. If they just admitted they lied, I would feel better. But you need to understand that most of the time you want to only know those answers, and because you're hoping that it's an answer that you want to hear. Because them lying to you and them admitting that you lied isn't going to change the fact that they lied. Or someone breaking up with you and telling you why they're breaking up with you, it doesn't ultimately ease the pain. You're still going to be heartbroken for a little bit. It's still going to hurt. And that's a valid response. Things hurt. Emotions should be felt. But it's how you deal with them that plays a bigger part in it. I wrote this down, but I guess I kind of already covered it with we want to believe that we mattered and we were worth something to that person. And just because they broke up with us or they lied doesn't necessarily mean we didn't mean anything to them. But you begging them for some sort of answer, some sort of closure, still doesn't necessarily prove that you mattered, Think back on their actions. that can answer if you mattered or not to them. And you're not always going to matter to people. Sometimes it's just a sucky person and they maybe acted a certain way, but they didn't actually care. And that sucks, but there's your answer. You did not actually matter. Maybe you did matter to them, but you get what I'm saying? There's your answer. Accept it. Let's move on. Why is closure not always the best option? Closure isn't always honest, and that makes you feel worse. Sometimes they're going to lie to you or shift the blame to you, and ultimately that doesn't make you feel better. Oftentimes if you're nagging at a person for some sort of answer, like why did you cheat on me? Why did you cheat on me? Why did you cheat on me? Chances are they might just lie to make you shut up. Certain mistakes don't define a person. However, if that's a boundary that they crossed or something, then that's what you should pay attention to. The why doesn't always matter. Let me take that back. The why does matter. Intentions matter. However, the why isn't always the biggest part of the issue. Sometimes the action was. Repeated this already, but you already have the answer. There's no need to open a door that should be left closed. I don't think I need to say more on that because that makes sense. Sometimes when you're reaching out for closure, or not even reaching out in the sense of you don't talk to them anymore, just asking a person for closure, it's actually showing you that you are in emotional denial. You're thinking that the more you ask, the answer might change and it'll eventually be something that you wanted to hear. Why did you give that girl your phone number when she asked, when she was flirting with you or something, and you're dating me? Why did you do that? Oh, I don't know. I thought it would be funny, blah, 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 blah. That hurts. But, eventually, if you keep asking them, they might just lie and be like, I didn't. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this example. I'm not really feeling the vibe of the example I was giving. Let me try to think of another one. I don't know, but it doesn't need an example. You can't expect their answer to change because they might not be lying. They might be being truthful. When they said things between you guys weren't working out, they might have meant it. And that's okay. Not everyone works out. But once they give you your answer, you don't need to keep asking them. When you're asking this person over and over and over again for closure, you're not moving anywhere. It keeps you stuck in the past. It keeps you stuck in that same spot you were in. And eventually you need to realize what's done is done. And you got to get through it. As much as it sucks and as much as it hurts at the beginning, you got to get through it. Closure is a conversation. Clarity is a decision. With that being said, why is clarity what you really need? Clarity is internal. It's a decision that you make. It depends on you, and you're not waiting for them to give you an answer. It gives you the power to move on from that situation and work through things on your own. Well, closure is obviously easier once they've given you some sort of answer. You don't always need it. And by answer, I don't even mean you ask them something and they responded. Your answer can be their actions of breaking up with you. This person broke up with me. That means they didn't want to be with me. Instead of saying or questioning, why don't they want to be with me? It just makes no sense. Clarity. Okay, this person did not like what we had going on, and as much as that sucks, that is the only answer that I need, we were not compatible. Let me move on. Obviously, it's not as simple as that. Stuff sucks. But answers aren't always verbal. You can work with anything to get clarity. Clarity starts when you stop relying on their words and actions and start trusting your own experience. Like, what do I already know? How did they act towards me? What am I pretending to not see? And I think that last one's a big one. What am I pretending to not see? What have they showed me that I'm acting like they didn't, just in hopes that they'll show me or say something, lie, something that'll make me feel better, make me stop nagging them? What am I pretending not to see is a big question that I like to ask myself when I can tell that I'm looking for something like closure over clarity. And don't get me wrong, I think that asking questions and making yourself aware of the emotions in a situation is a great thing to do. But once you have understood what's going on, I don't think you need to repeatedly ask, unless maybe you're confused about something they said. But if you're asking again in hopes that they're going to change something they said, I don't think so. You get the difference in what I'm saying? Asking because you're confused? Okay. Asking because you hope they change their mind? Not okay. You see the difference? You see the difference? Clarity ends that spiraling, ends that constant what if, but why, blah, 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 blah kind of thought. It's understanding what's done is done, sitting with it, and accepting how it makes you feel, and learning from it. I love taking everything as a learning experience. When something doesn't go my way, not everything's going to go your way, but you can definitely find something that you can use for the future. I can learn from this experience so that I either avoid things like this in the future, or I lean towards something like this in the future if it was a good experience. Clarity leads to self-trust and making you stick to your boundaries and being clear. Like I was just saying, taking experiences as learning lessons ultimately can help you in the future with boundaries and making sure that you can avoid or lean towards things that you like more or less. Yeah. Short episode, guys. 12 minutes. That was actually really quick. But I don't have much else to say. I think I said what I wanted to say. Closure versus clarity. To sum it up, lean towards clarity, guys. And it is hard. Sometimes it sounds easier than it is. Most of the time, things sound easier than they actually are. But it's worth it in the end. Whatever that phrase is. The hard path, the easiest path isn't always the best path. Yeah. The easiest path isn't always the best path. Anyways, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. You can find the Grace Yourself podcast on YouTube for a video version, or Apple Podcasts and Spotify for an audio version, all at Grace Yourself. Yeah. Again, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you tuning in, and I love all of you. Always grateful for anyone who supports. If anyone ever has any requests for something they want me to talk about, feel free to leave a comment or message me or anything at all. I just want to help, and that's all I have to say. Until next time, which you guys know and I know, we don't know when that's going to happen. I love you all, and thank you.